Hey, everybody, Glenn Hausman here. And listen, I understand what you're going through right now. The labor crisis is real, it's severe, and it's affecting your bottom lines in ways we never expected. I mean, after all, who never thought that there wouldn't be enough labor in order to be able to flip rooms, for example, so you could sell them? Goodness gracious, you're dealing with a lot. So I got with me today our friend Connor Vanderholm at Topline RM to discuss about some revenue management strategies that will help you get over this hump of the labor shortage while still putting cash in your pocket. Connor, great to see you, my friend.
Hey, Glenn, pleasure to be here. Thanks.
All right, so we've been talking a lot about this online, this particular crisis, and you are very focused on helping hoteliers out there get through the short-term crisis while also preparing smart strategies for the long-term future. What are you seeing out there today?
Yeah, I'm having a ton of conversations with property management teams, with general managers in specific, talking about how they don't have enough labor to be able to flip enough rooms to compensate for as much demand as there is any given night, right? And so we're having a lot of conversations about what are we going to do? Are we going to CTA the hotel and stop reservations for coming in, even though we could sell out more, or are we going to pivot strategy? And so
this is very stressful for people, so they don't know what to do. So what is that good strategy that you think hoteliers out there that are facing this situation should employ immediately?
Yeah, so definitely shift to more of an extended stay mindset. Even if you're at a short-term stay hotel, that extended stay base is going to be your bread and butter because it's going to require a lot less operationally. You don't have to flip the rooms every single day. You don't have to be doing all that housekeeping. There's just way less costs associated with it. And if we've learned anything through the pandemic, it's that extended stay business is crucial for a hotel to perform.
All right, so Connor, let me ask you this question. In this particular sense, is extended stay still the common definition, 5 nights to 28 nights or so?
In this scenario, no. So extended stay will actually kind of shorten.
That's why I'm asking.
Exactly, especially when you're having conversations about weekend production, which is often where we run into that issue of I don't have enough housekeepers to flip the rooms, but we're going to sell out. So, that could just be a 2-night stay. It could be a 3-night stay. The standard definition doesn't necessarily apply.
Right. Okay. So then how do you go about this? Because you made a great point. Weekends for a lot of hotels out there are packed, but those Wednesday nights, I'm watching tumbleweeds go by. I hear crickets chirping, all of those kind of overused analogies.
It's hard, Glenn. It's really difficult to see those Wednesday nights be so soft. What it comes down to is pricing appropriately and then capturing. So it's not necessarily what you put out there rate-wise, it's what you capture. And so that's going to vary by market, but there's, I guess, some underlying tenets, which would be, making sure that your rate is going to be competitive versus your comp set, whatever they're selling, long-term. But then also you need to be looking at your current production and what you're actualizing to see, hey, maybe I'm trying to get a 179, but maybe we're actually our ADR's falling in the 130 range. So your 30-day extended stay rate should be closer to that 130. Your 7-day rate should be kind of in line with what you're doing, in your weekly star reports, right? So that's where you need to shift your mindset.
All right, so how does that work exactly? How does that play out? Because if I'm not a revenue manager, so I don't get this stuff. So please educate me. If I put out a rate of $140, for example, am I going to get that extended stay business, or aren't I just going to get onesie, twosie, nightsy type of people as well? How do you do the distinction? How do you seek out different areas of business?
Yeah, so you're gonna look at seeing, first of all, you need to identify what kind of targeted segmentation you're looking for, what segment you're looking for. There is some corporate happening, and so you want to make sure you're pricing those appropriately. Maybe you're negotiating that rate with them with the thought in mind that this particular company usually stays for 4 nights at a time, and then make sure that you're pricing them appropriately so that they want to book that instead of whatever AAA, whatever may be lower. But then if you're looking for the leisure segment or just individual travelers, you really need to be looking at pricing. It needs to be below your short-term rate pretty typically. And then it just needs to be attractive enough that they're going to book that. They're going to book that over something else, right?
Can you do like multiple rates, say XYZ price for 1 or 2 nights, but 3 or more, you get a discount? I remember during the Great Recession, people were doing things like buy 5 nights, get 1 free, so it wouldn't damage rate integrity.
Yeah, so with extended stay rates, typically, and it depends on your system, but typically there's a length of stay requirement associated with that particular rate. And so what you
There
would
you go.
likely do in this scenario is you would back down that length of stay minimum, and then you would be able to capture, or they'd be able to fall into that tier sooner, depending on their shortened length of stay.
And that might even encourage people to stay a little bit longer if there's a minimum threshold for them to pass, which I think will further help. All right, so this is a short-term strategy. So if you start to get that business and you're where you'd like on any given night, how do you go about changing it to try to get even more money? Are we still doing it like we used to, or is there some new methodology you're employing?
There's some definite stuff that remains the same, right? Your mix of sales is going to remain the same. You need to build the foundational business typically, unless it's just a blowout hot date, right? Where you can just charge astronomical rates. Typically, that's not the case. And what you have to do is start with some solid base, which would be your corporate negotiated stuff, some of your L&R stuff, your local negotiated rates, and this extended stay base that I'm talking about, which is going to give you production on shoulder nights. It's going to give you production on Sundays, Mondays, Thursdays, and it's going to just balance out your entire week. From there, you're able to then start to capitalize on transient and IBT business that's coming in with higher rates. And so that's really, if you have, let's say, a solid 130 extended stay rate, and that's your base business, and you're getting close to the weekend, at that point you can start charging rates like 179, 189, depending on where you're at, and then capture and boost your ADR by that really good mix of sales.
Well, that makes a whole lot of sense to me. And it sounds like you guys are the perfect people to go ahead and help hotels find success in this weird, unusual environment. So, Connor, how can we learn more about Topline? How can we find you?
Yeah, appreciate that, Glenn. And you're right. We are the perfect people for it.
Yeah,
you can find us at toplinerm.com, or you can send us an email at info@toplinerm.com.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being here, Connor. And listen, he's got a great point. Everything is upside down. What's up is down. What's down is up. And you need to adjust your strategies now. And that's why it's so essential to bring in revenue generating experts to help you figure out all the nuances. Remember, in a world of you don't know what you don't know, leave it up to the professionals. I'm Glenn Hausman. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.